Okay. Hi, my name is Ari and I'm from Attentive Social Enterprise. Today I'm joined by Wiz and Mia, who are my co-workers, and our coach Montel, and we're learning an early checkmate to you, Montel.
Hi, okay, what I'm going to show you today is you've been shown the king pawn opening, and when people take out the knight of the white king and then the queen's knight, this is called the Italian game. So the first four moves are always the same, okay? So what I've been doing is I've been playing about what is the quickest way to get your opponent into checkmate from this way, right? And I've just been working out. So I've told you about the fried liver attack, which is basically what white aims to do and what I invite you to do with your opponents. If they don't know these little tricks, to aim to get your knight to that square, f7, threaten the queen, and then take the rook, and it puts you up. If you do it on that square, okay, which would be that bishop coming out to that square, you would need to move your queen pawn. Then you can do a similar attack by getting your knight to this square, calling check, and then taking that rook. If you do it on this square, it forces the king to move. Once the king moves, because it's moved, it can no longer castle. So it's in a big disadvantage. But if you do it on the side, then again, that's called a fried liver attack. So how would you get out of it if you were black? I'll just show you a little trick and technique, okay? What you do, okay, is these two pawns aren't really very well defended. The white one is not defended at all. Usually they can put up this pawn to defend it, or they bring out the b1 knight to c3 to defend that pawn, okay? With the black knight, it's defending that pawn. If it moves to here, so Ari and Mia, what would you normally do if you were white and black moved to that position?
Well, I'm assuming that you take the knight with your white knight.
Yes, so the next move, black could perhaps take your knight, absolutely. So because it's the white to move and it's your move, what would you do?
Whose move is it? Sorry?
White, your move. So let's say you're white, where would you move?
You would move the knight from f3 onto g5.
If you move to g5, what would happen here?
Oh, the queen.
Yeah, the queen would take. Did you see that, Wiz?
I'm sorry?
The queen, if that moved to here, the queen would take.
So I just realised
you
time I was on mute, so yeah. I'm sorry if
so maybe that's not the right move. Mia, what would you do if you were white?
Would it be a bad idea to take the black knight with the white knight?
You could do, but usually better idea is to take the pawn.
Yeah.
Because if you take the pawn, you take the pawn for free, and you're up. And you've got two pieces attacking that square. So what you want to do, and this is quite a common opening for middle range chess players, they would often get into this sort of situation. Okay. So what they're trying to do is to find the attack to attack this square here. Okay. So how would you defend against that? Ari, what would you do?
See, I would have gone for the technique that you showed last time where you moved the bishop down in to attack the f2 square, but now it's being blocked by the knight.
Yes, exactly. So, because that is one tactic, right, Harry? So that is one way with a slightly different opening. But what would you do in this particular situation?
Would you do the same thing but with the queen? So you'd move the queen down to attack
Well, good. But
D2.
where exactly? What square would you move the queen to?
Possibly G5.
Absolutely. Well done. Now, Mia, if the queen moved to G5, what do you think White would do next?
I mean, personally, I would probably. I don't know, because my first instinct would probably be to castle because I can. But at the same time, maybe bringing out the white queen as well.
The vast majority of intermediate players would normally take that. Then you're threatening the queen and the rook.
I see that.
So, Ari, if you're black and your opponent did this, what would you do? What do you think of this position, actually? Before you move, what do you think of the position that you're in if you're black?
I think that you have a chance to do something.
Good.
Honestly speaking.
Do you know what I think? If your opponent does that, 9 players out of 10 who play chess will think, oh no, wouldn't they? But I want you to do, if your opponent did this to you, they say, brilliant, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. And here's why. What you do is you forget that. You know you got a fork, they've forked you, but you've invited them. Because good chess players are always taught to look for forks. They're always taught to look for pins and to take points. And that's how you use it to your advantage. What you do is you take the pawn. Now they might have your rook, but then you're threatening checkmate. And game finished already. If they
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Do you like that?
Yeah, that was.
So, because that's threatening checkmate, what would White do?
Move. Move the. Yeah.
Move the what, Harry?
I don't even know at this point.
They would move the rook.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
That's all they can do. They've only got one move to do, otherwise game finished. So what would Black do in that situation? Mia?
If Black was to take the rook, then the king could just take back, couldn't it? So there's not really any point in that.
No.
Trying to see if there's any way to threaten that rook.
Threaten the what?
If that rook can be like threatened, or everything I keep thinking of, like there's a way for it to be taken. Like you could take the pawn on c2 with the knight, but then the queen will take the knight. So there's no point in that either. Potentially bringing out a bishop or the other knight.
Yeah, you could potentially bring out the bishop. Ari, what would you do?
I was thinking of actually just taking the H pawn, but I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Now what you do is you take the E pawn. Or check.
Oh, okay.
Remember the point of chess. What's the point of chess? It's to get your opponent right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what I invite you to do all times in your mind is think about attack, attack. Lots of players play chess and they play about moving over here and moving over there and doing that and doing that. That's not too bad. It's better to attack, isn't it? If you attack, what does your opponent have to do?
Defend.
Yeah, they have to defend. Okay. So what could White do about this?
move the queen.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they can move the queen to block it. Then what would black do?
Probably take the queen.
Yeah, so they lose the queen. And then white's gone because they can't
Yeah.
survive that. Because then what would happen is the bishop would take back.
Yeah, but then they have nothing else to defend that square. So
Exactly. Then the king takes that. Okay. Then they're in quite a bad position here. Say that moves to here. Okay. Queen moves to here. So if they bring out the bishop, you take that and then you get the rook. Okay?
yeah,
Then what happens is you bring out your bishop to here.
Mm.
So in this position, even though it's not checkmate this way, if the queen moved there, 3 or 4 moves later, white would resign. Now there's another option rather than moving the queen. What else can white do to block the check?
bishop.
Move the bishop back.
Absolutely, move the bishop. And then what does black do?
Probably the same. Still take it.
Or move the knight to here and checkmate. Game over.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
So you can see 3 ways to win checkmate from this one opening.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Did that make sense?
yeah.
Yep.
So I just wait till
Where's
Harry rejoins and then
it's good.
we'll continue. Harry,
Sorry about that.
go over that little bit. Okay. So the other thing that what happened was, apart from moving your queen, and then black will bring out the bishop, and then you'll eventually lose 3 moves later. What some players will do is bring down the bishop. Okay.
Mhm.
If they bring down the bishop, they're gone. Checkmate. Game over in 7
Yep.
moves. So the first way, when you bring down your queen to here, game over in 5 moves. This way, game over in 7 moves. So you can see that from some of these openings, it's very possible, it's easily possible to kill off your opponent in just a few moves. Here, if they allow you to take that pawn and they do nothing about that, checkmate, game over with almost already. Yeah, they can bring down the bishop, but they're not going to survive for long, are they? Because you've got 2 bishops coming down here, so I can move that out there, that bishop to here, and then they're gone. They can't defend it. Okay. They can move the queen there, but by moving the queen, they lose the queen, lose that pawn, okay, and they're just in a whole heap of mess, aren't they?
Mhm.
Okay, so just thought I'll show you these 2 moves before we actually play a game. What I'm going to do is stop the recording here.